Welcome to this episode of the Maximus Minute. Today, I want to talk about the 90-10 diet. I'm always posting about it, and people are always asking about it. So what is this 90-10 diet? Broken down in really simple terms, it means 90% of your diet is perfect. It means that 90% of your diet is conducive with your goals. It means that 90% of your diet, if I was going to give it a definition, is going to be non-processed, so real food, high quality ingredients, nutrient dense food, high protein choices, stuff that is traditionally, I'm going to say, good for you. The other 10% is where you can have a little bit of fun. It's where you can cheat. It's when you can enjoy yourself. It's when you can veer from the path a little bit and eat things that may not be consistent with your goal. A couple of things about the 90-10 diet. If you eat 90-10, you will get closer to your fitness goals than not. It's a great way to eat for a couple of reasons. Number one, 90% of the time you're going to be doing stuff that's conducive with your goals, and it's going to help you with that weight loss, being shredded, building muscle, doing all the things that you want to do. But there is a little bit of fun built in. And the reason why that's important is because the psychological matters. You know, a lot of people that I know that continually just deprive themselves, they're miserable people. And let's face it, so much of our life is built around food. So much of our culture is built around food. We do have holidays. We do have things we want to enjoy. And no matter who you are or where you are, you want to have that treat. It keeps us mentally and psychologically sane. But the other thing that I see happens is when people go too strict for too long, when they fall off the wagon, they're completely destroyed. And they don't fall off for a day. They don't fall off for even a week. They fall off for months at a time. You see, it's kind of like the pendulum theory, right? When the pendulum's been on the left for too long, when it decides to let go and swing, it doesn't kind of stop in the middle. It goes right to the right. And so what you see happen is it becomes a form, the 90-10 diet, of behavioral management. So that by having 10% of the time, if you can have a little bit of fun, it just keeps you on track with your goals. Now, what does the 90-10 actually look like when it's broken down? There's different ways you can do this and different ways I've seen people do this. Number one, we could go by calories, so that 90% of your calories are perfect and that 10% you can have a little fun. So if you're eating a 2,000 calorie a day diet, 1,800 calories are from those good nutrient dense, non-processed sources. And then with the 200 calories extra, you can have a little bit of fun. It can go by the way of meals, where 9 meals are perfect and then 1 meal you get to have a cheat meal. If you're eating like 5 or 6 meals a day, that means that, like Monday, for example, would be perfect. And then Tuesday can be mostly perfect. And the end of the day, Tuesday, you can have a little treat. And then Wednesday, you're back to being perfect. And then Thursday, at the end of the day, you can have a little treat. You could do the cheat day thing like a lot of bodybuilders do. Now, I know a lot of bodybuilders will have a Saturday or a Sunday cheat day. And that's not necessarily, to me, the 90% rule. That's probably more like an 80-20 type thing. But if you ate 9 days of perfect food, then you could have 1 day where you could just let loose and go crazy. And where that can be valuable is during the holidays. You know that on Thanksgiving or on Christmas Day, you're going to go nuts. You're going to have all the bad food. Then the 9 days before that, just eat perfectly. So those are 3 different ways that you could incorporate the 90-10 diet into your lifestyle, if you will. Now, when it comes to what type of foods that you're choosing, I'm going to cover the 90, then I'm going to cover the 10%. So for the 90, where you're eating good stuff, I want non-processed food. I always say that if it wasn't a food 100 years ago, it's not a food today. If it's made by a guy in a white lab coat, you shouldn't put it in your mouth. You should be able to pronounce and understand every single ingredient in that food. If you looked at something like spaghetti sauce should be made of tomatoes, olive oil, basil, garlic, oregano, thyme, maybe some ground beef or some chicken or something like that. But you can certainly recognize and visualize even every single ingredient in it. If you look at your spaghetti sauce and it's got something like, I don't know, silicon dioxide or potassium chloride or red 47, you don't know what that is. You can't visualize it. You have no idea what it is. You shouldn't be putting it in your mouth. So no processed ingredients. Some people will say 5 ingredients or less. Some people will say shop around the outside of the grocery store. I always say if you can grow it on a tree or a plant, like pluck it from it and eat it in its natural state or murder it, then it's fair game. But just really what I'm looking for is non-processed foods. And another way I've heard it put, which is great, is meat, nuts, seeds, and berries. Like if that's what you ate, your diet would be stellar. You wouldn't have any issues. And I'm not just talking about with performance here. I'm talking about long-term health and longevity. So really, like when I look at your diet, steak's good, chicken's good, fish is good. But let's talk about definition here too. The better the steak, the better. I want organic. I want grass-fed. I want grass-finished. With chicken, I'm not going to KFC. With burgers, I'm not eating McDonald's. Like I want real meat. With fish, I want a tuna steak or a salmon. I don't want like some type of fish stick. So steak, chicken, fish, they're all good choices. Something like a high quality cut of pork, like a really good pork chop would be a good choice too. Then we go down to like, nuts, walnuts, cashews, almonds. I'm fine with that stuff. With peanut butter, don't buy the Jif peanut butter with the palm oil in it. It's garbage. Buy real natural peanut butter. You know what peanut butter should be ingredient wise? 100% peanuts and maybe a little bit of salt. So again, really good, clean ingredients. Fruits, apples, bananas, raspberries, blueberries, blackberries. I'm a real fan of red berries. They're high in antioxidants. They're high in nutrients. Avocados would be good for you. Real genuine coconut would be good for you. I don't have a problem with real full fat Greek yogurt. You get the picture. Now, if you were eating like that, all of your fitness problems would be solved. I promise you that. And I always say that people don't become overweight eating non-processed food. On the other hand, if you see a person that's overweight, look at what they eat. It's a bunch of soda, it's a bunch of candy, it's a bunch of processed food. So that covers the 90%. We want non-processed food, stuff that is nutrient dense, stuff that is nutrient rich. Another rule that you could add into that is make sure you're getting roughly a gram of protein per pound of body weight a day. So if you weigh 200 pounds, 200 grams of protein. And meat is the ultimate source of non-processed food. Like it doesn't get better than a ribeye steak or a New York, or a chicken breast or something like that. So again, that's your 90% in a day. That's what I want to see. And one more thing, just because I teach this at seminars and stuff like this, the least processed, the better. So an orange is better than orange juice. Olives are probably better than olive oil. Banana is better than a banana shake or a banana puree or something like that. So the less processing, the better. Now, when it comes to the 10%, that's where you can have a little fun. But I still want you to have a mind for quality. Let's say you're going to eat some pizza. Now, pizza is a heavily processed food, right? Like even if it's good pizza, you don't see a pizza tree, you don't see a pizza plant. It's not at the outside of the grocery store. It doesn't really fit into that 90%. It fits into the 10%. But I'm still not going to throw myself into the gutter. I'm still not going to go for the worst pizza possible. Do you realize that stuff like Pizza Hut, stuff like Little Caesars, it's not made from real ingredients. It's just a bunch of chemicals. If you go to Subway, it's just a bunch of chemicals. You go to Arby's, yeah, they say it's meat, but it's just a bunch of chemicals. That's not what you want. You want high quality stuff. So, just as an example, Friday night in my house is pizza night. We got choices, right? We can go to Pizza Hut, we can go to Little Caesars, but I won't put that in my body. That doesn't even fall in the 10%. That just doesn't exist to me. The pizza that I'm going to have that falls into the 10%. There's a place in town, the oven they use, the tiles imported from Italy. They take a lot of pride in their craft, but they use 00 milled flour imported from Italy. They use organic wheat yeast. They use a little bit of water. That's how they make the dough. The cheese is made in-house. The meat is made by a real Italian deli. They make their sauce fresh every day. Like that's a real pizza with real ingredients. There's no quote unquote natural flavors added. So that's the pizza I want to eat. When it comes to ice cream, I'm sure you've seen the ice cream with the 19 million ingredients in it, and it comes in that gallon tub, and it's like eating air. That's not the ice cream I'm going to eat. On the other hand, and there's all kinds of ingredients like silicone dioxide and potassium chloride and all kinds of other additives and colorings and stuff like that. That's not what I want, natural vanilla flavor. On the other hand, Haagen-Dazs vanilla uses cane sugar. Now, something just on a completely another note, we're going to go down a rabbit hole. If an ingredient on a label just says sugar, it could be one of 27 or 28 different things that are made in a lab that are meant to like kind of be like sugar. If it says cane sugar, it has to be real, actual, natural cane sugar. So I'll only eat stuff that uses cane sugar. Anyway, the Haagen-Dazs vanilla has cane sugar, vanilla bean, cream, and I think that's it. Actually, cane sugar, cream, vanilla bean, and egg yolk. That's the only ingredients in Haagen-Dazs vanilla. I forgot the egg. But that's a real ice cream that you can have. So yes, it falls in your 10%, but that's something that you can have. So again, chicken wings. I don't go to B-dubs. I don't go to, these places that have these processed chicken wings that are fried in all kinds of nasty oil. I'll make real homemade chicken wings on my Traeger. And so again, even when you eat the 10%, I want it to be the highest quality ingredients. And really, like, it's funny, people have a really hard time with this. I'm not asking you to suffer. I'm just asking you to eat a Michelin star diet, a James Beard diet. I don't want you to go for a burger and fries at a Wendy's, just some processed nastiness. I want you to go to Gordon Ramsay's restaurant, and I want you to have a burger and fries. I want you to have real food. I want you to eat the best of the best. If you're into the alcohol, that's fine. That can fall in your 10%. But I'd rather you, when you have tequila, have something like a Teremana or a Don Julio or a Patron, something that's 100% agave versus a Jose Cuervo. Like, basically just think, always go top shelf. I always have this joke at my seminars. If you're going to cheat, don't cheat with like the homeless person that lives behind the 7-Eleven. So ladies, like, if you're going to cheat, like, go for a Chris Hemsworth, go for a Jason Momoa, go for a Jason Statham, go for The Rock. Like, go for someone that you find really attractive. Don't, sleep with the homeless, toothless person behind the 7-Eleven. Like, that's not going to work out well for you. Same thing, guys. Like I don't know who you like these days, but go for the Kim Kardashian, the Beyonce, the Rihanna, the whoever you find attractive. Like, don't just go for like the ugliest person that you can find if you're going to cheat. So if you're going to cheat on your diet, cheat with quality. Go for the absolute best. And I laugh because that's like a really funny way to put it, but you want quality in your life. You want the best. Never make lateral moves or never take a step backwards. Always look to improve your position. So again, for the 90%, that's where you're eating perfect. Everything's organic, everything's grass-fed, everything's like, plucked from a tree, and you have to be able to murder it, and it's meat, and it's seeds, and it's nuts, and it's berries, and it's all that wonderful stuff. The 10%, that's when you can have a little fun. But again, if you're going to have a cheat meal, still keep it quality. If you can do that, if you can follow a 90-10 diet like that, I promise you, your fitness goals, your health goals, they will fall right in line. So that's the 90-10 diet. Simple. It'll keep you on track. It'll keep you headed towards your goals. And the real question is just, how much do you care? Right? And final note, again, I'm not asking you to suffer. I'm asking you to eat the best pizza in the world. I'm asking you to eat the best burgers in the world, the best steak in the world. Listen, if you can't handle that, you really don't want to achieve your goals, or you have some wish or desire for self-destruction. Like, it's that simple.